Yep, 9 o'clock Eastern. Comes too soon sometimes. I wasn't paying attention to the time. I was all ready to go, and I wasn't paying attention. So you can fault me for that one. This is Coin Roll Hunting with Copper Coins, original roll reveal. This is number 139. It's a 1953D Philadelphia roll. I'm sorry, Denver Mint roll from the Philadelphia National Bank. So here's the Philadelphia National Bank roll. It's sealed on both ends, and it is an original roll, but it is tails, and I'm not sure whether that means we've run into a Denver Mint roll or not, but I'm hoping it's a Denver Mint roll because that's what I was told it was. I'll go ahead and start prying it open here. Say hello to everyone. Robert Archer, Joe McBride, Randy, Farm Dog, TNO, Jeff Dunn, Chuck Patillo, Jeremy Johnson, Doug Reese, Eric Beyer, Deanne. Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the show. And get this roll opened here real quick, and we'll get started. All right, I got it picked apart enough to get it open, and here we go. Okay, the coins inside look nice. They do have a mint mark, but I can't see what the mint mark is because I don't have my eyeballs on. Let me get my eyeballs on here real quick. Yes, 1953D. Okay, so we have ourselves a 1953D roll here. I've got the names right here in a little pile. I'll put them inside my bag, give them a good shake, and let's get started. So coin number 1 will be for Adam Chambers. Get myself scooted in just a little bit closer here so I can maneuver better. There we go. Coin number 1 goes to Adam Chambers, and coin number 1 is this coin. We have no RPM on this one. No doubling on the obverse. And here's the outside edge of the coin, or the outside facing side of the coin. A little bit of a spot. Some toning. That's for Adam Chambers. That's coin number 1. There we go now with coin number 2. Coin number 2 will belong to Joe McBride. Here's Joe McBride's coin. Hello, Jeff Stanley. Looking for some nice RPMs in this. There's a chance that we could get some really good RPMs out of this roll. So that's what I'm hoping for. Never know what else we might run into. We do have an original uncirculated roll of 1953Ds here. Well, look at the die break on the T. All the way up the T. That is a sign of a very late die state coin, other than the fact that the outside edges of all of the design elements are basically gone. Die cracks are a relatively good sign that you have a die that has been extended beyond its useful life, but they're just trying to get the last little bit out of it before they toss it. Majestic Sounds of Coins gets coin number 3. This is coin number 3. Looks like we have a split lower serif RPM here. So this will be die number 1 for the roll. It's a relatively minor one. I'll have to look at it and make sure and see what it is and make sure I've got something that's worth pulling. But this one nearly touches the 5 and the date, and the 5 has a die break in the upper half of the 5 of the digit. So I can definitely use that as my marker to pull this. And if I get confused on that, there is a die break over the VDB along with a die break going up over the shoulder, extending from the B. So that should be easy to pick that up. Majestic gets the first die variety of the roll. Let me check the reverse. See if there's anything on the reverse of this coin. And I don't see anything. So that's coin number 3 for Majestic. Got himself a nice little RPM. And now move on to coin number 4. Coin number 4 will go to Fox Run Forge. Fox Run Forge picks up coin number 4, and this is what coin number 4 looks like. We have another example of the same RPM. It's in late die state, but it is the same RPM. There's our other marker again. Look around and see if there's anything else to be concerned with on this particular coin. Don't see anything, so let's flip it over and take a look at the reverse side, knowing that we're probably not going to find hub doubling back here. You never know what else you might run into. Especially things like perhaps something that was struck through another planchet, perhaps struck through something else. That wouldn't show on the obverse. There's a lot of things that you'll find on the reverse that you will not find on the obverse. And that is coin number 4. It's our second example of die 1 there. And Chuck Patillo gets the next coin. That's coin number 5. And this one has the break in the 5, but it's also got a break on the 1, and it is not the same die. It doesn't have the RPM. So this is not an RPM. So if it has the break on the 1, then it's not the RPM for this roll. Not the one we've run into so far anyway. I'm seeing some color up here. Got a little bit of toning going on. Just a little rim toning. Well, this one is the same die too. How is that? That's unusual. That's odd. Let me check another one of these again. I'll go back to Fox Run Forge's coin. So this does not have the break on the 1. Does have a break on the 5, but the D nearly touches the 5, and then we've got these die cracks. Or maybe they're just scratches that are actually on the hub. I'm not sure. We come back to this one. We've got that break up on the 1. We've got a crack on the 9. But then we've got these marks. I'm going to have to say that they are unrelated to the other, but very, very close in appearance. Because this D is farther from the 5 than the other one. And it has a very, very minor split upper serif, but I'm not going to count that as an RPM. So we'll put Chuck Patillo's coin to rest, and we'll move on to the next one. I believe 53D has 2 different mint mark styles. You have one that's a, like this one, a more shorter, normal looking mint mark style, and then there's one that's a taller, more round mint mark style. Ooh, here's one. Big giant die crack in the head. That'll definitely be a marker for something, even if it's just to help us remember this die. We do not appear to have a repunch mint mark here. So we'll flip it over and we'll take a look at the other side, and we'll see if there's any doubling on the reverse. Not especially expecting any doubling on the reverse of this coin, or of any of the 1953 Ds. RPMs and double diludes are really kind of the name of the day. So that's coin number 6. Let's move on to coin number 7 here. Quads.com. Quads gets coin number 7. This is coin number 7. We found ourselves another example of that RPM, but the top of the mint mark is flattened out. And I will put it in the pile as 1 because it is definitely 1. But the doubling on the mint mark is going to be nearly invisible because it's smashed. That's too bad. To know you've got a nice RPM, there's another die marker for sure. You've got a big die scratch inside the E of 1 on the reverse. So Quads gets a die 1 for the roll. flip that over and get moving on to the next coin. Sorry about that, quads. Chuck Patillo. Chuck Patillo gets the next coin in the roll. Let's see what we get. Okay, this is the other die that has very similar die scratches, or die cracks, I mean. But it's not the same die. That is, I've never seen such an elaborate die crack pattern that was almost perfectly duplicated on a different die, especially in the same roll. But this definitely is. It is exactly that. These are very late struck coins, so there's not a whole lot of chance of picking up anything really minor. Mostly major stuff is all we're going to be able to see on these, because once you really start getting worn down on that die, you start losing all of the minor variances in the doubling and in the design that could show separation and other things. Jeff Stanley comes up next. Jeff Stanley, this is your coin. And you get one of them. This is one of the RPMs here. I'll have to get a really good close look at it later. But I know I saw some repunching on the first coin I looked at of this die, so I know it's there. So this is another example of die 1 for the roll. Looks like it may be the only die variety we end up with out of this roll. We are 9 coins in. A third of the coins that we found so far, actually almost half of them, 4 of the coins we found so far, are that 1 RPM. Jeff Stanley again. Well, let's see what Jeff Stanley gets for coin number 10. This is the other die again. So it looks like we have a dance between 2 dies here. And this one had nothing on it, and the other one is a minor RPM. Coin number 7 might have a doubled eyelid. Nope, it can't. Coin number 7 is one of that RPM, that first RPM that we're pulling out of the roll. If it had a doubled eyelid, so would the other ones that match up with it. Not an RPM number 1 to be found here. Jim Fletcher. So far, not saying there's not going to be any, I'm just saying we haven't seen one yet. So this is that second die. So far, we've only been finding 3 different dies in this roll. It's pretty simple. You got one with a big bulbous crack on the one. You got one without that crack, but a lot of the other markers are the same. Then you got one that's a relatively normal coin. This one's another one of them. This would be the same die as die number 7. No doubled eyelid, or coin number 7, I'm sorry. No doubled eyelid, so the other one doesn't have it either. Because they were made from the same die. There's your die crack pattern again. And your split upper and lower serif. The Phantom 3. Yeah, this is die wear. It's the exact same thing that you see on 1955 cents. That people $4, $5, $6 per coin, you can find those 1955 poor man doubles. You can find a ton of those things if you get enough coins. Go through enough coins and they are everywhere. Randy gets coin number 12. Coin number 12 is, again, a die 1 for the roll. Got a little bit of peachish toning on these coins. It's actually really nice. Really nice color. There's our long die break without the upper break on the T. And the large die scratch inside the E of 1. So we definitely have the same die pair again. Same die pair again. This is coin number 12, and we're up to probably close to half the coins we found. Let's see. It is exactly half the coins that we found are that 1 RPM. So that'd be alright if we went through this roll and found the other half were the same die. Here's the other mint mark style. This one's got some very interesting die scratches. Those are die scratches. Those are not scratches in the coin. Very interesting myriad of markers here. Unfortunately, they don't belong to an RPM. But this is the other style of D, known for the 1953 D. Randy, I don't know. Let me check it real quick. Yes, yours was the RPM, Randy. I put it in the RPM pile. I'm kind of doing it without saying much, just because we're finding a lot of them, so I'll mention them from now on. I'll make sure I mention them. This is an earlier die state coin, but it doesn't have any hub doubling on it, no RPM. This is a new coin for this, or it's a new die for this roll, as far as I'm concerned. We haven't seen this before, not in this roll. We'll take a really good close look at the reverse and make sure that there's no hub doubling that we're going to miss. Nothing there. So that's Fox Run Forged. That's coin number 13. Took us 12 coins to get to this one. Different die. Here's Tim. Yet another different die. This one doesn't have the die breaks at all in the date. We don't have anything on the obverse of this. How about the reverse? The reverse doesn't show anything either. So that's it for that one. That's coin number 14 now. Moving right along to coin number 15. Coin number 15 will go to Adam Chambers. And it looks like we have no doubling on this coin. This one's got that big, looks like a skull cap. Looks like he's wearing almost like a beanie or a yarmulke. So this will be our Jewish Lincoln. No, I'm not going there. And don't send hate mail. I love Jewish people. One of my best friends is Jewish, so lay off. Went to the bank today and got a box of 20 pennies. Yeah. Unfortunately, it seems to be a rather common thing as getting brand new coins. If you come up with a couple of boxes of them, I'd buy them 2 boxes at a time and give you some profit. If you can find another box, get it, and I'll pay you some profit to send it to me. Okay, this is that non-RPM die coming back to us again. It's got that bulbulous break on the one. It's a leader die state coin, just like the others that we found of this die in this roll. I kind of wish this roll was a lot better than it is. I was hoping that it would produce some nice RPMs. But alas, it turns out to be a very typical lot of coins. Let's see, Deanne. Deanne gets coin number 17. Coin number 17 is this. Okay, this is yet a different die. Don't know that I've seen this die before. I don't really recognize it. Not seeing anything on the mint mark or the date. Let's check the eye. Oh, that's this one. Okay. Well, we have seen that one. So if you start memorizing your dies, that way as you're memorizing the dies going through the roll, when you run into the same die again, you can just check for major error stuff and not check every little nook and cranny for hub doubling, because, well, if you didn't find it on one coin, you're not going to find it on another one with the same die pair. CM Silver, coin number 18. Yeah, it does us both a lot of good, Hawkeye, if you could find a second box to mail to me. That would be profitable to both of us. This is the RPM die. So this is the RPM die for CM Silver. Trying to keep our numbers up here. I think we've got 6 or 7 of those so far. This would be either 7 or 8. I'll check as soon as I put it on the stack. I'll count them again. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 of them right now. This is for coin number 19. That's Eric Beyer. Eric Beyer gets coin number 19. Coin number 19 is... it's another one of our RPMs. Another one of the RPMs. This one has a slightly different color than the other ones that we've been finding. It's still a decent coin. Yeah, I'm into buying the 20 cents if anybody happens to have them, but I prefer to get them 2 boxes at a time because you can put 2 boxes inside of a medium flat rate box. And for one charge of $14, I can get 2 boxes, plus I'll give you profit per box. And we both come out ahead because, well, I get the 20 coins I need. You get a little bit of extra money in your pocket. This is another one of the doubled mint marks. This is another RPM, same one, but it's another example of the same RPM, die number 1, that we've been pulling out of this roll today. So here we go. We're really processing through a pile of RPMs here. They are minor, but it makes them worth a relatively good chunk of change compared to the value of a non-RPM 1953D Lincoln Cent. So that one's for CVS, and it is one of the RPMs. Now Adam Connor, I'm sorry, not Andy. Adam Connor, not one of the RPMs. This is the other one that has the big break on the 1. Let's take a good look at this one. Check to see if there's any error issues here, and I don't see anything. The girls are downstairs eating ice cream. I can hear their spoons clinking in the bowls. They hide from me when they're eating their ice cream. Then they blame me for eating it. All right, so this one's not one of the RPMs for Adam Connor. Draw for coin number 22 now. Coin number 22 for Dennis Paulson. Dennis will get not an RPM. Well, it actually is an RPM, but it's so minor. Okay, well, let's zoom in on it real quick, because that might help us make a determination as to whether we should be pulling these out too. Let me get this leveled down. There we go. I'll turn the light up so we can see a little bit better. Is it actually an RPM and I've been skipping them? Boy, it's so minor. I just don't see much here. It does look like a little split in the lower serif, though. Yeah, I'll have to look at it with the other scope, but these could be an RPM as well. So we've got this die, which of course has the break on the 1 and the 5. You can send me 2 boxes of 2020D. Okay, good. Email me. cd@coppercoins.com. Email me and we'll talk about a purchase. Take a look at the other side of this one just to see if it happens to have. See, there's a die crack down there I never noticed before. There's also the 2 die cracks on the T. But no doubling of any kind on this one. So this is Dennis Paulson. I'm going to take a look at these again, and I'm going to see what we've got with regard to the possibility of an RPM on these. But for right now, I'm just going to keep them in the regular pile. Go back through this roll again. Actually, no. I'll segregate them from here forward. All right, CM Silver gets coin number 23. And coin number 23, I'm going to start calling this die 2 for the day. I can see a little split in the upper serif. I could definitely see it, but I'm thinking there's also a split in the lower serif, which would make this good enough to list as an RPM. So we'll give it a shot with this and see what happens. So this will be die 2 for the day. I'm going to go through and pull the rest of them now, just because. Well, I've got a little bit of time and I've got your attention and patience. I can go through the remaining 10 or 15 coins or so and pull out the rest of them. This is not one. This one is one. This is one. This is Joe McBride. This one is one. That's Chuck Patillo. Hello, Jim Fletcher. Super chat, I appreciate it there, sir. Thank you very much. He wants you guys to smash the like button. He's throwing a big, bold smash that like button in front of you. 22 people watching and 11 likes right now. Okay, this one is one, and this is Chuck Patillo. This one is one, and that's Jeff Stanley. This is not one. That was Fox Run Forge. This is not one. And that's Tim. That is not one. It's going to be Adam Chambers. This is one. That's Jeremy Johnson. This is not one. That's going to be Deanne. You like the die chips better than the RPM? I think the whole thing is neat. This is one. This is going to be Adam Connor. So far in this roll, we have pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. And then for the die 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 17 coins so far. 17 out of 21, 22, 23. 17 out of 23, I can't say that's bad. All right, TNO, I need to put you in moderator status so we will know that you are good. You're not a troll. Silver Rufus. Silver Rufus is going to get coin number 24 here. See what coin number 24 is. This one is... does not appear to be an RPM. Not a doubled eyelid. No hub doubling on the obverse that I can see. Let's take a look at the reverse. Hello, Bill. Bill 457 in the house. And we have nothing on the reverse of this coin. So this one's going to... oops. That was a wood surface, so it's not damaging the coin. Silver Rufus gets coin number 24. They're pretty nice coins. They are. We got a lot of minor die varieties out of this one, though. A lot of minor stuff. Good minor listable die varieties. I like that just as much as anything else. Here's another die number 2 for the day. Die number 2 for the roll right here. We're going to call this one with the big bubulous looking die chip on the 1. We're going to call that die 2 because we do have a minor double split serif on this one. As determined after I had started passing them by. A little bit of a struck through on the right edge. That's about it for that. So this is a die 2, Jim Fletcher. Or Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf. Jeff Dunn gets the next one. And this is another die number 2. This is die 2. You vote for die 2, you voted right. Or did you vote for that in advance? What's the next coin I'm going to pull? Is it going to be a die 1, a die 2, or neither one? Die 1, Die 2, or neither one. What's your vote? What's coin number 27 going to be? Same? Die 2 again? Bill says same. Die 2? Randy's looking for a BERDDO. We got 3 for die 1. We got 1 for a die 3. So we're thinking that there's going to be a die 3. I can't remember what this one was again. This was a die 2. Okay. Get that in the pile for die number 2. Okay, here we go. Coin number 27. A Shalom Lincoln. Okay. Where's Robert Archer? So let's see what we get for Robert Archer. Bam, die number 2. It's another die number 2. Nice clean looking coin. Decent condition on these. Bill wins. That's right. He gets the bragging rights of being able to foresee what comes in this roll. Even though die 2 seems to be the most common die in this roll, so he kind of went with the averages there. So that's Robert Archer gets a die number 2. Let's take a look at the next coin. Next coin is coin number 28, and it's going to go to Mike Birchman. And it is a neither one. This is a Yamaha. This is our Shalom Lincoln. Looks like he's wearing a Yamaha up there. Big giant splitting headache and a Yamaha. I like saying that word, Yamaha. It reminds me of some Greek words that are difficult to say. And there are plenty of them. A lot of them aren't as hard to say as they are to spell. The Greek language has a very strange rule of spelling. Next one's going to be number 1. Next one? That'd be number 29 here. Dennis, what do you want? You want a number 1, number 2? What are you looking for? Number 1, number 2, neither one? It's a got a couple of little spots on the obverse, but the reverse on it looks pretty nice for grade. Dennis wants a number 2, so let's see if he gets a number 2. No, sir. It's neither one. This one's the Jewish Lincoln with the Yamaha on his head. He's going to temple on Shabbat. Yes, I don't think we have any Jewish holidays anytime right around now. Or it could be like the Yom Kippur penny. But I don't think we're having any relevant Jewish holidays very soon. Oh, it is? Passover. Passover is past, hasn't it? Joe McBride. Yeah, Passover was back in March and April. Joe McBride. This is a die number 1 here. There's our die number 1 for the roll. And keep our numbers up. We have standards, you know. Have to keep our numbers up. See what I find here. I think this is just a little bit dark. Move it up just a little bit. Make it a little bit brighter and easier to see. Okay, there's Joe McBride. Die number 1. Now batting 7th. Right fielder. Number 31, CVS. Oh, it's another one of our Jewish Lincolns. Yamaha Lincoln. Oh, got another little struck through over there, and it looks like it's in the same place as another struck through. Have to watch that for possible die damage. All right, now they're down there with the mixer, actually making something like cake or bread or something. They love to bake stuff late at night. I don't understand what the deal is with that. Must be a women thing. Nothing against women. What's what on the head? Oh, that's all die cracks. Been seeing that since the beginning of the roll. That right there, yeah, it's all die cracks. Die's about to split open on the head. No die variety there, but he does have nice die cracks. Nice crack, buddy. Steve Patat. Get die number 2 here. You can see the split in the upper serif right there. You can see it very well. Very minor one. The tomahawk scalp to the head better than Yamaha Lincoln? Okay. We'll call it a tomahawk scalp. Okay. But isn't that kind of colorful in the wrong direction if you're a PC type person? Okay, this one is a little browned out. I'm getting a little bit of toning to this one. We'll pull it out. That is a, which one was it? Die number 1 or 2? Die number 2. So that's a die number 2 for Steve Patat, with a little bit of a toned down reverse. Put that on the pile for die number 2, and we'll move on to the next coin. Coin number 33 for Steve A. is die number 1. That's a die number 1. A nice coin here. Got one hit out in front of the face, and that's about it. Of course, he's looking right at it. Exactly the one place where you don't want hits on your coin. It's still a gem coin, though. Nothing going to keep us out of gem condition with that. It's a very nice coin. All right, Steve, die number 1 you got there. Paul Hampton. Paul Hampton now, coin number 34. This is going to be the die crack on the head. Right there. Only got about 5 different, maybe 6 different dies that we're looking at in this roll, and that's pretty much normal. There's any chance at any time that one die could be a lot more common than others, because it could be new bag, old bag, or it could be an unstirred pile that happens to be going into one counting machine that came off one die press. So your chances of getting one roll, one die or another as a heavy participant in a particular roll is not highly unlikely. All right. So well, Steve gets one he wants. I like that. Steve Patat here. That was Steve A. This is Steve Patat now. Steve Patat is also going to get one of those as it appears. I do believe this is... No, it isn't. This is the earlier die state one of the regular type D. I haven't seen this die but once or twice maybe in this roll so far, which is kind of interesting. It's interesting all in itself. There's another one with some toning on the reverse. Looks like this one sat in a bag for a while before they were rolled. That's what the deal is with these. Probably sat in a bag for a couple of years before the bank rolled them. That was for Steve Patat. It's going to be a normal coin, so we're going to move on to coin number 36 now. Coin number 36 will go to Deanne. And Deanne gets a die number 2. Definitely a die number 2 here. Get to play little games with this roll because it's kind of fun. It is. You're right. The coins could be a little brighter, but you're going to get them. When you get them, you're going to see that they're actually really nice coins. We're just looking at them very, very blown up. I can't ever remember when I'm looking. Okay, this is a die number 2. Die number 2 for Deanne. And we will move on to coin number 37. Now in position number 37, Jeremy Johnson gets a die number 1. Jeremy Johnson gets a die number 1. And there we go. There's a little hair on that one for you. It's free. You can have that for free. That came straight out of the roll. Just for you. Hey, look. Has a hole in his ear. That's actually a struck through area. But you get that struck through area in the ear, but don't complain. You get a hair absolutely free. That's right. You only pay $4.95 for extra shipping and delivery. And that's for Jeremy Johnson. Only pay separate shipping charges. Let's see. Well, that was a die 1. Okay. So here we go. Got Majestic. Another die number 1 here for Majestic. Sorry, Majestic, you're not special. You don't get a hair. No hair on your coin. Seriously, folks, I haven't had a haircut in so long. If there's one hair on my head that's less than 5 inches long, I'd pull them out and put them on your coins for you. But I don't. All my hair is like mop long now. If they don't open up the shops to get a haircut soon, I'm just going to shave my head. I'm getting tired of this. A lot of decent coins in here, Jim. Here's the next one for you, buddy. It's a 65, as it appears. This is not one of our die varieties. This is that interesting little guy. There must be a ball of something stuck in the die chamber while this is going on, because I have seen this size of a struck through on about half of the coins in this roll so far. It's been a very interesting thing that we get this little round struck through about this size on so many of the coins in the roll. I'm thinking it was probably a dried up ball of something that was being struck into the coins and it just stayed behind with the die, or stuck to the dies. I know, that's right. I haven't had this much hair since I graduated high school. As soon as I went in the military, they shaved me bald, and I never came out of that. This is Jim Fletcher's coin again. I forgot what it was. Okay, this is not an RPM. So we'll go to coin number 40. Hello, Mr. Morrell. Coin number 40 goes to Farm Dog. Farm Dog here. He's going to get himself one of the Yamaha coins. This is one of the Shalom Lincoln. That looks like almost like a killer whale on his forehead. Almost looks like a killer whale, or maybe a manatee. Yeah, it's a manatee. That's what it is. It's a sea cow. All right. That one's for Farm Dog. Now let's take a look at coin number 41 for Bill Betts. Coin number 41 for Bill Betts is a die number 1 again. Back to die number 1. Die number 1 is a minor double split serif. We've got a split upper and split lower. Our main marker on that is a die break inside the 5 of the date without a die break elsewhere. And here is a little struck through on this coin. There is something going on with those struck throughs. Well, Tim, we're basically going through a roll that has 2 different RPMs in it. We're getting a large number of both RPMs. Can't remember which one this one was. There we go. Okay. Die number 1. Oh, that was Bill Betts. I got to get Bill Betts' name in there. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's for Mr. Betts now. Coin number 42. Number 42 will go to Doug Reese. Doug Reese, and that is a die number 1. Doug Reese, die number 1. I'm going to see where his struck through is, if he has one on this. Seems like we're getting a lot of struck throughs on these coins that are all small round struck throughs that are in about the same spot. Not one on this coin. I had to say it, right? But we did get him a nice die number 1 there. Doug Reese, die number 1, coin number 42. Now coin number 43. Coin number 43 to Randy. Randy, what do you want, brother? You still here? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's not going to be an RPM because it has the split head. Not an RPM. But we do have the manatee head. The Yamaha Lincoln. Nothing erroneous on the reverse. I'm looking for a struck through spot. It's become a Easter egg hunt now. Okay. Nothing on that one. Coin number 44. Now playing position number 44, Eric Buyer. Nope, this one's going to be the splitting headache here. Alright. No, it's not exactly the same thing. This is a different die altogether. I don't know whether or not we've seen this one. What is that? Is that a... Okay, that is a die crack running across the shoulder. It's a little struck through right on the Y. Why? Because we like you. Tomahawk chop. That kind? RPM 28 with the separated D. Yeah, I need that too. I've been looking for those for a long time. Haven't seen one yet. Not in person. Seen pictures of them. We got a couple of different RPMs coming out of this particular roll. In fact, we have 2 different RPMs, and over half the coins in the roll belong to one of those 2 dies. So we're actually doing pretty well. This is one of them. It's a minor split serif, double split serif RPM. It has a break inside the top of the 5, and the D nearly touches the 5. It has a little split on the top and a little split on the bottom. We're calling this one die number 1 for the day, or die number 1 for this roll. I need to quit calling it die number 1 for the day because every time we move to a new roll, it's a new day, and that's not necessarily true. But we do have coin number 45 as a die number 1 for Mike Birchman. Another one of our markers for this is this diagonal die scratch inside the bottom of the E of Liberty. Yes, it was, Robert. Been finding a lot of those too. Almost shaped like a manatee, or it has like a... We were calling it the Shalom Lincoln because it had a die crack across the top that looked like a Yamaha. This is one of them. See, that this part here looks like a manatee, almost like a manatee swimming in the water. And then this part up here, the die crack goes across his head in just the right spot to look like a Yamaha. So we're calling it the Shalom Lincoln. So we have a Shalom Lincoln. It's not a double die. It's not an RPM, but this one goes to Tim Morrell. Tim Morrell. My speller comes out a little bit wrong sometimes. I'm thinking it in my head and I know what I'm thinking, but when it comes out in my mouth, it's not the same word. So that's coin number 46. Moving on to coin number 47. We got 4 coins left on this roll. 47 belongs to Steve A. Let's see what Steve A gets. It's going to be a die number 2. This is another minor double split serif RPM. It has a break on the 9 and the 1, as well as the upper 5. It's not the same roll, not the same die as the other one, because the D is more distant from the 5 and the date. And mint marks do not move on dies. They only wear out. So it's definitely a second die. Both dies are pretty late die state. They've been drawn out quite a bit. They've got a lot of nifty little breaks on them, like this. So this is a die number 2 for Steve A. I think everybody's getting their share in this roll, that's for sure. Next is Silver Rufus. Silver Rufus is going to pick up a die number 2. Another die number 2. Bum bum bam. Bam. Radio 97. Bam. Takes us back to Rain Man days. Definitely a lot of coins. Yeah, a lot of coins in the roll. Jeff Dunn. Jeff Dunn comes out for coin number 49. Let's see what coin number 49 is. We have a die number 2 again. You can see the upper split serif. If you look at it really carefully right now, you'll see a black dot in the center of the upper serif, in the beveled part of the upper serif. On the D makes that an RPM. What you doing, Raymond? RPMs. Definitely RPMs. Lots of them. All right, there we go. That's for Jeff Dunn. That's going to be next to the last roll coin in the roll. Can't remember, was this a 1 or a 2? It's a 2. Okay. Get that in the number 2 stack. Number 2 stack, and for the last coin in the roll, we go to Paul Hampton. Paul Hampton for number 50, and it is a die number 1. That's a die number 1. Has the poor man's doubling on the edge of the 3, just like the other die number 1s that we've seen, which is a sign of a late die state coin. Here's the toning on the reverse, as this was the roll end coin. Nice roll ender. Okay, so we are ready to tally the results. This is going to be kind of spectacular, folks. I'm going to count the number of normal coins first. The number of normal coins that came out of this roll, coins that do not have any die varieties, 17. 17 coins that are normal came out of this roll. That means there's 33 coins that are RPMs. So this is RPM number 1. I'm going to go through the names first, then I'll go through the numbers. I'm going to go through the numbers for my sake. That's die 1, folks. And here's die 2. Die 2 for the names. There's 16 of those. And here's the numbers. I get it just right so I can see the numbers. There we go. So what we have here, 16 of die number 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we're 16, 17, and 17. 17 normal coins, 17 die 1s, and 16 die 2s. That's how the cookie crumbles this time around. I appreciate it, folks. This was a fun roll, like this one. This one came from Blaine Newport. And was a good roll. Kind of, sort of hoped that the coins would have been a little bit earlier dice date, but I mean, you know, that's whining and complaining. Let's not whine and complain and be thankful that we got a good roll, right? I do believe so, Randy. Let me check real quick. Yeah, your second coin was number 43 and it was normal. So there we have it. All right, folks, I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and take off now. We have 3 reveals tomorrow. 3 reveals coming up tomorrow. One at noon. Be a 71D original bank wrapped roll. Then we'll have one at 3 p.m. It'll be a 1957D Chicago Federal Reserve wrapped roll. Then we'll have one at 9 p.m. tomorrow. 9 p.m. tomorrow is a 1945D original machine wrapped roll. And then at 9 p.m. on Friday, we'll have a 1947D roll. 1947D. And I appreciate it, folks. You guys have a great night. And I'll see you tomorrow.